We was helpless. It was just, that would have been it. It would have been it. Yeah. It was getting late in the afternoon, and then we was getting ready to go, getting ready to leave, and that's when it all started.
I turned around and go head back uphill, and I slipped and fell back in.
I was just sitting there fishing, then next thing I see in the corner of my eye, I saw him fall in, and then I just took off. I tried to reach for him, and I slipped and fell in after him.
He all of summer. He said, "Daddy, summer fell in," and so I think he actually reached at him, but then he also fell. When he fell, so he fell in. I said, "Well, I'm going to jump in and save him, see what I can do. That's my next thing."
I tried to go back to the bank, but I came back down.
My bounce, I come back up, and I kept splashing in the water, my arms, trying to reach for them and trying to push them back up. But then again, I could feel them, but I could never get my head above water. So when we went back down the second time, I could tell then that the water had they went in my nose, my ears, and kind of got me kind of down. And the next thing I realized I felt like I was in just like in a deep sleep.
I was observing Clint as he was checking people's fishing license down the riverbank in this area fishing. And we heard a loud splash. It sounded just like somebody threw a concrete block in the river, is what it sounded like to me. And somebody else shouted, he fell in. Clint, he took off up the riverbank here and started running toward the splash, and I took off right behind him.
As I came right down here to this location, that's when I seen a young boy. All I could see was the top of his blue shirt and of course his head, and it was the side of his head was going down up under the water.
Yeah, I came up once and went back down.
I swam out to grab the young boy, and when I got there he was completely up under the water, and I grabbed him, I believe, by his shirt and by his arm too, and just kind of helped him basically bobbed back up to the top of the surface.
When I went in, I caught a hold of a root, and I could see the boy under the water, and I realized I could reach him by holding on to the root, and I finally got a hold of his hand, or he got a hold of mine, whatever. We grasped hands, and I just pulled him toward me as hard as I could and got him up to the riverbank.
I was going back up there and felt somebody come up and pick me up out of the water.
And as we were both up here to the edge, we could tell there was another swirl in the water. And at that time is when a bystander jumped in the water as well. And he helped us get Mr. Fields up out of the water, who was in a lot worse shape than the two boys, it seemed like to us.
It's kind of terrifying, fight for something that you can't hold on to or grab, or you can't do nothing about it.
Had my share of heartaches. Still here.
We normally carry life jackets wherever we go, but for some particular reason that we was anxious to go, and just go fishing, sit down. So we didn't think it was, we were gonna get ourselves in no kind of danger. But I tell anybody from experience, regardless of that, please put them on. Please carry them. Put them on, regardless, because you'll never know. You'll never know.
Everybody knows you're supposed to have a Coast Guard approved personal flotation device when you're in a boat on the rivers. But even if you're not going in a boat, it's a good idea to bring that item with you, because when people come to the river to fish or swim, they don't plan on drowning. And sometimes bad things do happen, and having that Coast Guard approved PFD with you could make the difference whether somebody goes home that day or don't go home from the river that day.
It was just the grace of God that kept us. That's all I can say, So I'm just glad, and I'm overwhelmed about them. If I could see them, I would hug them and love them and tell them, you know, they saved our life.
I think the Lord put us here for them, and we got them up, and we all went home, and it was a good day.